Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Narasaiah. So I'm working as assistant professor in Mlritm. So today I am teaching the subject full stack development. So today I'm going to explain the introduction to full stack development. So first of all, we want to know what is full stack, why it is in academics. So from full stack development, what all students able to learn, how it's going to useful in their career, like these things we will discuss. So full stack development, before full stack development, student must know web technologies. He has to have idea of HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and any backend languages like Java, Python, and PHP. So these are the topics the student must aware of in web technologies. So HTML is very easy language, and with that only we'll make a front end. So before going, I would like to explain about the roadmap of full stack development. So what is the roadmap of to learn full stack development? We'll see. So first one is the student must know the front end, back end, database. One more thing is database. This three combination only full stack: front end, back end, and database. Though this three combination full stack development. What is front end? Front end. Front end. If anybody wants to settle in as a front end developer, they must know that these components. One is HTML, second one is CSS, third one is JavaScript. If you know this thoroughly about these three components, so we can you can place as a front end developer with a minimum package of 3 to 4 lakhs for LPA. So HTML, in basic HTML we use for the front end development. This is a language we use, markup language we use to build up front end. So CSS, we know CSS for styling and all we use CSS. JavaScript, this is the vital language nowadays everybody using. This is for a back end and front end we use to build up the coding part. If you know these three components, you will be placed as a front end developer. This is called front end. What is back end? So back end, the back end means the server, application, and database. They reside behind the behind the website. So whatever, if a user so if I want to log in a page, I want to book one ticket, railway ticket. So I'm opening the browser. I am going to IRCT website. This is a backend. So when I gave details, press the button. Something is going and something happening backside, and whatever data I needed, that is displaying here. So this is called a backend. A backend, in the backend only all the logic will be existed. So if you want to know backend, you have to know the language PHP, Python. We use this language Java. There are so more languages, but we learn this PHP, Python, and Java languages as a backend languages. So this is about backend. And the next one, database. So database, when database comes in our mind, first thing we say it DBMS, RDBMS, or SQL. These are the databases we know earlier. But today the vital database, what in the viral database we are using, every company using is MongoDB. So what is MongoDB? What is the difference between this previous DBMS and SQL? The simple difference is, if you want to create, if we want to create millions of rows, millions of columns, this SQL or DBMS will take a lot of time. But by using MongoDB, we can create within if these two take 1 week time to create, this will take MongoDB will take 1 day. This is the biggest difference. That is why every company updating to MongoDB. A company like a Google, nowadays Google, all the banking sectors, all are updated to MongoDB as a database. This is about database. So if we know these three ends, front end, back end, database, you will we will place as a full stack developer. This is the meaning of full stack development. So if you want to know about full stack, what are the things we must know? One is front end, and second one is back end, third is database. So we have to manipulate with these three elements. So this is called full stack development. And next one is, what is the basic web frame overview? A basic web frame means, in the basic web frame we see user, browser, web server, backend server. User means who are using internet, who are using the browser is called a user. So user need, if I take me as example, I am user. I want to do something in the internet. I open one page, which is data which is I required. Then I give some logins. It goes to browser takes browser. In browser V8 engine is there. It will take the data. This V8 engine will execute the JavaScript code, and it will, whatever data I needed, it will display. So this is a simple web frame. You can, the picture in the diagram, you can see the a simple how the web frame is working. This is the diagram for working. User will be, the server will be, browser will be, the web server will be. How the front end is getting logic, how the front end is manipulated by the JavaScript code, and the response the user getting back. This is the simple framework of web framework. Next topic. So what are the components of full stack development? There are three components, initially three components. One is front end, second one is back end, third one is MongoDB, a database. So these are the three components of full stack development. But here we have to learn about the user. First component is the user. How we are interacting with the web is called a user. So in the interaction initiator, input sourcer, I have to give input. If something want from browser, I have to give some input. I have to give some source. Consumer of your content. So I want to know the content. I want to log into some registration page. So I am consuming some content. This is called content. Expectations. What are my expectations? With what expectation I reach to the browser? This is called expectation. So modern users expect low latency, fast response. That's it, no. So I don't want to wait. So if I give some, I want to, whatever I want to, I give input, output has to come within no time. So this is the expectation. This is called a user expectation. This is about the user component. Next one is the browser. Whatever input I am giving, how browser is reacting is called the nature of the browser here defined. First one is, the browser acts as the interpreter of the web. So it takes data from me, and it process and give me the response. That is called interpreting. So interpreting means making understand the websites. It received a code from the server and render it visually. So whatever input I am giving, it display output in the web application. So here there are the some protocols for the browser. First one is render engine. It convert, render engine means whatever I am giving, the logic input it taking and converting to the website, it displaying the web content. Like how by using it process inside, it will process with the HTML, CSS, example like Blink WebKit. So it is giving info. It is displaying some info on the web. So it is a render engine. Render means displaying information. So JavaScript code, JavaScript engine. What is JavaScript engine? JavaScript engine is the brain of the brain of the server. We can say brain of the server. Whatever needed, whatever input is server is user is giving, it process the JavaScript code process and gives back to the response. It's a brain of a server. Simple words, like if I can say, what is JavaScript engine? Brain of a server or websites. So network layer we can say a delivery boy. So it taking information from the browser and it gives to the backend and whatever response gives to the user. We can say network layer. We can say a delivery boy. So how it deliver by using HTTP request and response model, because we know HTTP request and response model. With that they will deliver. Next one, storage. Storage means database. How the data is storing by in the form of cookies, sessions, local storage. So local storage means whenever if I log in and I saved some data, whenever I want to delete, it will get deleted. Otherwise, until I delete, it won't get deleted. Session means login information will be, sorry, cookies means login information will be, and the session means the entire entire session, how much I used for this. So this is about the browser and render engine, how it works, what is JavaScript engine, network layer, storage. So next component is third one is the web server. Now we have seen user and web browser. Now web server. So whatever input is taking from the user, the browser will reach out to the server. So the server here only, in the server, the web server only plays the logic. So here only the JavaScript code executes. Whatever the user gave, here JavaScript code execute. It will display the response to the user by using these contents: listening, serving static content, request, routing, security. In this form of elements, it will take the input from the user and process the data and gives back to the user. This is called the web server. So example, www.google.com. This is a server. So what if I open no, if I type this and click on button, no, one page is getting opened, and next when I whatever I want to open some Gmail. So immediately the page is processing by the web server, and I got some authentication it comes. So I'm getting to the Gmail. So this all will do the server. Next, backend services. What are the backend services? We have talked about backend services. Application logic will be, data persistence will be, API servers will be, REST, GraphQL. A third party integration will be in the data backend side. So what is application logic? Whatever I am needing, whatever the user is needing to process with application logic, calculate some authentication rules, business processing, and with that data, MongoDB stores all that data from the backend. The server REST API, this provides the front end consume of database, and the third party communicating with external services like payment gateway or mail servers is called third party integrations. This is about backend services. So what is the next topic is what is full stack ecosystem. In the full stack ecosystem, we see the man stack. Man stack means man means MongoDB, E means Expresso, R means React, N means Node.js. So this is called man stack. Very important, important, significant part of the full stack FSD. So enough to learn this about this. MongoDB, we see MongoDB. What is MongoDB? I have told MongoDB database. It is a database. Nowadays, every company, all the banking, all the people are using MongoDB to store the data. So Expresso, what is Expresso? It is a framework. React means front end library. It is a library. Node.js runtime environment. So we will see from the Node.js. We learn about the Node.js. What is Node.js? Node.js is a runtime environment to execute JavaScript code. It is just a runtime environment. So in the front end, usually JavaScript we use in the front end. So in the back end, if you want to use JavaScript in the back end, we are using some runtime environment to execute JavaScript code. Runtime environment. By using this environment only, we execute JavaScript code in the back end. Node.js. So in the here in the front end language, we learned JavaScript is a front end language, but some developers want to use JavaScript code on the back end. So back end direct we can't execute. So we are using Node.js runtime environment to execute JavaScript code in the back end. So it is not a Node.js is not a language or not any framework or not a library. It's just a runtime environment to execute JavaScript code. That much only Node.js. In the further sessions, in the first unit only we know about only definitions, basic abstract about all the components. In the second unit, full unit framed in the about Node.js only. In that unit, we'll learn all the topic in detail. So here I am telling Node.js is just a runtime environment to execute JavaScript code backend. So by using some engines here, V8 engine uses Node.js uses V8 engine to execute JavaScript code. That much only info here. So next part, React. React is a framework. So here we see this is a runtime environment. In this runtime environment, to execute any code, we need some framework, some libraries. So the framework provided by React. So React, what is React? It's a some on library to execute JavaScript code. What is Express? So Express also backend framework. It gives some framework to execute JavaScript code. One by one is connection only. So in the data, in the whatever data is comes, that will store in the MongoDB. So this is about the man stack. Only just knowing the definitions of man stack. So next topic is, this is about ecosystem, full stack ecosystem. So introduction to Node.js. Here Node.js is a open source. It is a open source meaning it is a free. We can download free, install very easily. There is no need to set a path and all. It is a very easy language to install. Cross-platform JavaScript runtime environment built on Chrome V8 engine. I have told you, no. So it is built on Chrome V8 engine. So V8 compiles JavaScript code directly to the machine code. There is no need of any compilers. Nothing is needed. Enough to execute with a Node.js with a V8 engine code. Code will execute directly. So next, asynchronous. The word asynchronous means non-blocking. What is non-blocking? So non-blocking means, so earlier whatever browsers know, inputs how it takes one by one. It take one browser take one input from the user and it will process, give to the response. Again after finishing after give to the response. Like that it will one by one it will take. But you by using Node.js, in the Node.js non-blocking one feature, this is the best and special feature we can say to the Node.js. So this it will take number of inputs from the user, process and give output at a time. So there won't be any delays. That is why Node.js is famous. Okay, so it won't take one by one instructions and process and give back. It take number of inputs from the users, and it at a time it gives responses. This is a special feature of Node.js. Single thread efficiently handles thousands of concurrent connections on the thread by the event loop. This is the special feature of Node.js. Modular, built on support of model using common JavaScript requires. This is about a Node.js. So MongoDB document database. MongoDB means it's a database. So vital database nowadays everybody using. So a simple MongoDB is a NoSQL database. Here NoSQL database that stores data in flexible JSON format, JSON documents. Flexible and JSON formats store the data in JSON format. JavaScript Node.js format, it stores the data. So here collection, what are the collection documents instead of tables and row? So we in the SQL or DBMS we see that we know the tables and rows, but here we call the collections and documents. So instead tables rows ni, here we call it the collections and documents we say it, and allows varying structure in the same collection. So this feature is called schema-less. So designed for horizontal scaling and high availability. This is called high scalability. Queries are written in a syntax very similar to JavaScript. Here in MongoDB also we write how we are writing queries, how the simple syntax of the JavaScript. We start console dot log. Here we'll display the output. So like that syntax we use in native JavaScript support. So simply here you can see the name, student A, student, it's ID, student ID number, MLRS 1001, course, what course is FST. This is simple syntax of MongoDB. Okay. Next, what is Express? This basic meanings we are knowing. Express.js web framework. Express is a minimal and flexible Node.js web application. I said no. One by one is connection. Node.js. Next, React. Expresso. MongoDB. These are connection. Node.js is a runtime event. If you want to run, we want to make the logic here. We need some libraries. If you want to execute this, we need some frameworks. So one by one connection. It is a connection. Express is a minimal and flexible Node.js web application framework. Robust routing, the features of this Expresso: robust routing, middleware architecture, and API development. These are the three features of Expresso. So in robust routing, we use get post, put, and delete routers. These methods we use and do the coding. Middleware architecture means functions that process requests before they reach final logic. Example: login authentication. We say this for this authentication. We say best example. API development, the industry standard for building RESTful API in Node.js. Some interface we are providing. So this is the interface only. So a simple example, a syntax of Expresso app.get request and hello world. This is the example. So simple syntax of express.js. So React, I said it is a library function to make use of to execute JavaScript code. React is a JavaScript library building for user interfaces maintained by Meta. So we know the Meta. Nowadays Meta is very popular. We are using Meta AI technology. So React is just library to execute JavaScript code. So declarative and component based. The features of what React is this. First one is declarative and component based. Second is virtual DOM. Third one is JavaScript asynchronous syntax. Fourth one is state management. In these features, I would say this virtual DOM is the best feature for React. What is virtual DOM? Efficiently update only changes part of the UI, user interface. Whatever changes required in user interface by using virtual DOM. DOM means document object model. Actually, DOM means if you see 100 lines of code, will it be understandable for a human under lines? We can't understand. We have to go through so much to understand this code. Okay.
100 lines of code. But by using DOM, we can make this 100 lines of code as a tree structure to make understand. By using this document object model, with the objects we make some tree structure. This is the one of the feature of DOM. So this 100 lines become tree. So now we can understand easily. That is the main feature of this React. Next, Angular. Angular also is a framework to building single page client application using HTML and TypeScript. Here we see the new word TypeScript. By using TypeScript and HTML, we are framing some with our Angular. We are framing some. We are providing some framework to execute JavaScript code in the backend. This is about Angular. Angular has some features. Comprehensive. Comprehensive means it includes routing, forms, and client-server communication out of the box. TypeScript native. What is TypeScript native? Provides strong typing and advanced tooling. For documentation, it provides some type of tools. Two-way data binding. Synchronizes model and view automatically. This is about the Angular. So next topic is JavaScript fundamentals. So to master full stack development, we require some knowledge about JavaScript code. So every logic see front end by using HTML, CSS, JavaScript, we are making some front end. So this is a very static and very easy to make. But whatever making back end, it's very difficult. Sometimes we are using language, so many languages, Python, Java, PHP we are using. To manipulate this one, we need so much knowledge about JavaScript, because we are using JavaScript here, no? One language we are using JavaScript. So to understand this, we need this variable. What are the what are the variables in JavaScript? Any language, if any language, if you want to know, we have to have some vocabulary. So right. So if you do without vocabulary, we can't learn any language. So here also vocabulary variables in the Java. If you want to learn the JavaScript, this is the vocabulary. Treat it as a vocabulary. Variables, data structures, some futures, asynchronous concepts. There are a lot more functions, methods. We have to learn this vocabulary to understand, but to better understand about the JavaScript. What are the variables? Understand. The variable is VS. Const. This is the variable. Const is the variable. We say constant. Some values we provide. So like that, we declare variables in JavaScript. So data structure, deep manipulation of object and arrays. Data structures, we know. What is data structures? Manipulating data. So deep manipulation of object and arrays. So this is the fundamentals of data JavaScript. So in the next class, how we are going to install Node.js, how a Node.js installation, and how it going to work out. We will execute some programs, hello world simple programs like we will execute. Thank you so much.